Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We traditionally start our United for Ukraine gatherings with the Ukrainian national anthem. And so I'll invite you to please join us as we listen to the anthem. I will stand and you're welcome to stand with me if you would like to. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Let us get started. So, as you all know, the war continues. And for those who are following closely, you've probably seen the reports of even more intense fighting. And so, as we say, every single day that this war continues, people are dying who do not need to die. And we pray and we act to find a way to bring peace and to encourage those with power to work towards peace. And if it's only something small that we can do, we come together weekly to share ideas, share information, share actions, or just to keep each other company. And so I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Every week we have the regulars who are here sending you love. Thank you to the regulars. And every week we have a few new faces join us. So thank you if you're here for the first time. As usual, we will open the floor briefly just for a few comments. So you can share anything on your mind. All right? So if you're concise, we can typically take a few people. Once this is done, we then invite our Ukrainian family. They usually have some thoughts to share with us. They've prepared, and so they have the mic. They also sometimes come with invited guests, and the guests will get the floor at this time. Once this is complete, we open the floor again. And if you didn't get a chance to speak the first time, there will always be this second chance, and we have this conversation. Is that okay? All right, so right now there's a floor open. And if you want to say anything on your mind, a feeling, an idea, you just want to vent, that's totally fine. Floor is open. Use the Zoom app and raise your hand and you can share. Mihaki, you've got the microphone. I see your hand, so please proceed, Mihaki.
Okay, thank you so much, Yemi. How is everybody? Today I'm joining you from the comfort of my bed because I'm on bed rest. I'm not feeling so well for the past 1 week.
Oh.
Anyway, it has also been a time for me to reflect and ask myself, who are we? Who are we as a people? Like, where did we get to start killing each other to get satisfaction? Where did we even get to someone being comfortable to kill kids? For example, the case that happened at Robb Elementary School in Texas. Who are we? And that is a crime done by someone who's 18 years old. I'm so sure even in Ukraine, how did people get there to even killing someone for territories, for comfort, for command. Where did freedom, where did democracy go? And I'm telling you today, in our small ways, we are making history because we are here touching the world in our small ways. Whatever we're going on right now, whatever we're going through right now, it honestly does not matter. But what really matters is how we are handling the situation. And I can say we are already making tremendous steps and you're writing history in our small ways. The future generations will know some people were here taking their time to stand with Ukraine. Some people were here taking their time to speak against the vices. So thank you guys for always coming through. And definitely when I'm on my feet, I will keep on supporting Ukraine because, as I said, I'm here for the victory. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mihaki. We wish you a full and speedy recovery. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. All right, the next hand I saw was Untuk. So you got the microphone. What would you like to share?
Thank you so much. Thank you. My thoughts and love to Wiyaki. You know, she's my friend, and even though she's my friend, we seem to share the same thoughts, and her words always resonate with me. I think that was the exact thing I wanted to share. To add to that, I want to say that what's happening in the world is just a mere projection, that the real life is what happens within us. So as we gather here in love, in courage, in strength, we should do well to project what is within us and not so concerned with what is happening in the world. I want to urge us to continue to create positive impact on the world, and that is all that matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you. All right, the next hand I believe was Lamzi. So Lamzi, if you're there, you've got the microphone. Lamzi, we can see you've unmuted, but we don't hear you.
Oh, hello, good afternoon.
Hey, we hear you now.
Yes, my special thanks want to go to you first and foremost, Mr. President, for creating a platform for us as young people where we can come together and be able to share positive thoughts on how to take actions concerning the conflict and the war going on in Ukraine, and how best we can come back to our home countries to see how we can put up these little steps that we are coming here to come and learn, that will not just come to this platform and try to just like discuss, bring up suggestions, but how best we can come back to our home countries, our communities, and try to effect these changes. Yeah, so a special thanks to you, sir, and to my lovely sister, Mihaki. Get well soon, my dear. Get well soon, yeah? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lamzi. Thank you. All right, Zaliha, you've got the microphone.
Okay, thank you, Yemi. My name is Alihat, and I'm a human rights activist. I'm a law student. I can really say I'm happy being here to support the Ukraine, because whatever the situation, humanity should come first. Whatever we're doing, and you can do that even at your community level. You can support Ukraine. The last session I attended, there was a woman that said you can do that by just pasting a poster or something like that, just to show your support. In every situation where humanity should come first. I'm a human rights activist. I know how it feels when humanity is being touched. You feel as if you are the one being touched. So Mohaki and Eti, I'm sending my shout out to you. They're my good friends. It's nice to be here. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you very much, Zaliha. Thank you so much. And we agree with you that when our family is suffering somewhere, as human beings, it's very natural we feel it. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter if they have different color eyes than we do. It doesn't matter if they have different color hair. As long as we are family, we feel it when they're being hurt. And just in case anybody has any doubts, Ukraine did not ask for this war. Ukraine was minding her own business, and somebody else decided to use violence to achieve whatever objective they wanted. This is completely wrong. It goes against everything that we claim to stand for. Even the Russians know it's wrong, which is why they present a very carefully curated set of description for what they are doing. And they don't want anybody else to hear the objective descriptions of what they are doing. So even the Russians would agree that what they are doing actually goes against what we stand for. All right, I think I can take one more hand. I could take one more hand. I think that belongs to Agnes, because she got her hand up earlier. So Agnes, you've got the microphone, and then we move on to the next segment. So Agnes.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hi, Amy, and we hope you get well soon. I'm happy to be here because this means that we are doing something that is good. There is something that I've come to understand, that no matter the fact that there is a lot of bad in the world, it is our responsibility and our duty to ensure that we're doing more good. And there's a saying that I've come to adopt since joining UPG, that sustainability is no longer about doing less harm. It is more about doing more good. And I believe that if we all join hands and do more good, we shall eventually overcome and triumph over the bad. It is our responsibility. It is our duty to ensure that we are doing more good to overcome the bad that is happening in the world, because the bad will always be there. But then what are we doing to ensure that we counteract that? So sustainability is no longer about doing less harm. It is about doing more good. We should ensure to be doing more good.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing, Agnes. Thank you. Did you finish?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And just as a reminder, the regulars know this, but if you're new, as a reminder, our time here matters. When we come together, it makes a difference. Even if we just sat down and we just vented, it still makes a difference. Because then we know we are not crazy for feeling the way we feel. We know there are other people who care. But there's so many other ways it makes a difference. People in our communities, maybe they don't talk about this so much, but when they do, we have information we can share, right? Because we've been united for Ukraine. And the time is coming when the knowledge you have is going to be very, very powerful. Unfortunately, from everything we see, this war is not going to be over soon, sadly. But what this means is that different societies will reach a point where they either are going to start talking about this, or they will be making a decision if they should forget about this and focus on other things. In these moments, you're going to be ambassadors of light to remind people why this is important. And the fact that you've been here, the fact that you've heard directly from people who are close, they're either in Ukraine or they're close to what's happening, you will have more information. Sometimes you will have more information than your Minister of Foreign Affairs. I'm not kidding. I've been in this space quite a long time. So by being in these conversations, it really makes a difference. And one word from you, one objection, one show of support can lead to tens or hundreds of people taking the right kind of action. So thank you for being here. We're here for the long haul. We are united for Ukraine, and we are here for victory, as Mihaki has said. So thank you so much. Let us move to the next segment. And here I'd like to invite our Ukrainian family to please let us know how they'd like to proceed. Do you want to start with a presentation? Do you want to start with some words? Danka, what are we doing?
Yeah, I guess we will start with our presentation. But before that, as you know, as maybe you know, it was announcement. Today we will talk deeply about how art connected with war, and we will have like two special guest speakers. We will introduce them later, so like be till the end. And now I guess I should give floor to Irina. She will start. She will start usually from the our newsletter.
Great.
Thank you, Danka. Hello, everyone. Let me share some news with you. So the first item of news is about, you probably remember this information that there is a Russian military officer who is standing in front of court for killing a weaponless a civilian in Sumy Oblast in Ukraine. And actually, there was a sentence for him. He got jailed for life for this murder. And the judge, Sergei Afonov, said, even though the defendant said he did not intend to kill, the court does not trust these claims and believes there was an intent. And actually, two more cases are being presented in a Ukrainian court in Poltava region. So these are just pieces of the puzzle that will help Ukrainian lawyers to prove that Russia is committing genocide against Ukrainian people, because a genocide presumes an intent. Okay, the next slide, please. So according to President Zelensky's words, Russia has launched 2,275 missiles and conducted over 3,000 airstrikes since the start of its all-out war against Ukraine. Today, there was information that Kharkiv was under shelling and with at least 7 people dead and 17 injured, including 1 child. The city of Mykolaiv holds on through Russian bombardment and experiences the lack of drinking water. Even though Russian forces were thrown back from Mykolaiv by the Ukrainian army, the city has not yet returned to its normal life. The shelling continues and major businesses are shut down and ports aren't operating. And in the photo below, you can see people in Mykolaiv standing in line to get some drinking water. Also, Russia attacked the city of Zaporizhia with 4 missiles. People heard several explosions in the city on the 25th of May. And 1 person was killed and 3 more were injured in the attack. The city of Kryvyi Rih was also attacked with 3 missiles. And Russian forces hit a factory which sustained serious damage. The casualties are being calculated, so there is no information right now. Russia is trying to move forward in the east of Ukraine, and there are numerous civilian casualties in Severodonetsk and Bakhmut. And in Luhansk region, there is no gas and there is no water supplies. The residents are still cut off from electricity, as the officials say. Okay, the next slide, please. CNN reports that satellite images appear to show Russian ships loading Ukrainian grain in Crimea. 2 Russian flagged ships at port of Sevastopol are loading something that is reportedly stolen Ukrainian grain. Ukraine has previously accused Russia of stealing several hundreds of thousands tons of grain. They stole it from Kherson and now are loading it on their ships to sell it somewhere in Russia or to other countries. Also, Russia steals foods, vegetables and fruit from the occupied Kherson region to sell those foods at Crimean markets. The next slide, please. Kalish Orchestra have announced an auction on the, it was done on the 25th of May. The group's lead vocalist, Oleg Psuk, will sell his famous Panama hat, the pink Panama hat with his signature, and also the Eurovision trophy that they got as this year's winners of Eurovision. And the money that will come from this auction will be given to the needs of the Ukrainian army. The auction will end on the 28th of May at 7 p.m. Ukrainian time. The next slide, please. Oh, that was all. Thank you very much for your attention.
May I interrupt only for a few seconds about the last news? Can you see me?
Yes,
sorry,
you may
can you hear me?
proceed. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And thank you, Irina.
It's a very important thing. It's not a simple auction. The winner is the one who will donate the biggest quantity of exact amount. So you pay if you want to win it. You have to pay and pay and pay and pay to do, well, exactly donate to this organization. And in fact, all money will go to this organization and will help Ukraine. So even if you don't win this auction, you will be one of those who help Ukraine. And this is the thing why I love this idea, because no matter if you win, you are helping people.
Very, very creative. Thank you for explaining. That wasn't clear, because it's not typically done with auctions that way. So that's very creative thinking. All right, thank you so much. And thank you once again, Irina. Back to you, Danka.
Yeah, next slide, I guess it's from Oksana.
Yes, yes, it's me. So good evening, everyone. And today I would like to share some international news and our concerns related to this. Recently, we observed a number of warning signs from world political leaders, journalists, opinion leaders, which made it clear that Russian regime keeps using all possible tools, including their preferred threats and propaganda, to pressure international community to stop supporting Ukraine. And here, there are just those most prominent, in our opinion, examples. The first one is the article published in the New York Times on 19th of May, which suggests that the war with Russia is not in the interest of the US. Further, they consider that during the negotiations with Russia, Ukraine has to make difficult territorial decisions in order to reach any compromise. Territorial decisions is basically giving up our sovereignty, something that, according to the newspaper, can be negotiated. Another thing is the 4 steps plan to seal peace in Ukraine from Italy. This is the Italian plan that was presented by the foreign minister, Luigi Di Maio, during the interview with the UN Secretary General, again on 19th of May. The first step, according to this plan, is a ceasefire, obviously, then the multilateral negotiations on Ukraine's future international status, and in particular on the possible condition of neutrality of Kiev. And the third point concerns the definition of the bilateral agreement between Russia and Ukraine on, again, territorial issues previously occupied by Russia, Donbas and Crimea. Here, according to Luigi Di Maio, many variables would come into play: borders, sovereignty, territorial control, the legislative and constitutional provisions of that areas. Finally, the fourth stage with the regards the reorganization of relationship between the European Union and Moscow. Again, Ukrainian sovereignty is on stake while relations with Russia is prioritized. And last but not least, on 9th of May, Emmanuel Macron made a remark that EU is not at war with Russia and warned the world leaders against humiliating Putin. Later, in an interview with Italy's public broadcaster RIA, Ukrainian President Zelensky was asked to comment the words of Macron. And he replied that Macron had asked Ukraine to make concession as regards its sovereignty to help Russian leader Vladimir Putin to save face. He also added that we won't help Putin save face by paying with our territory. Looking at all these claims, we can clearly see the shift of the opinion worldwide towards the possible solutions to the genocide war in Ukraine. We are voicing now the question Ukrainians ask these days. Can the sovereignty and the lives of thousands of Ukrainians on the occupied territories be the price of peace? We saw the horrors in Bucha after we managed to liberate it. Shall we ever see what is going on in Mariupol, Kherson, and many other occupied towns? Do the lives of those people who are yet alive in those territories cost basically nothing? It is clear that Russia made its move on the international arena and managed to influence the opinion of certain political leaders. But we believe that there is a force that is stronger than Russian threats: people. People can make a difference. People can make actions to awake the politicians and remind them what they put on stake. And as UPG Ukrainian ambassadors, we cannot stay aside on this information war, and we are asking for help. These days, we discussed a lot the current situation on the international arena, and now we are asking you to share your ideas on the forum on what we can do now to preserve the world from making a huge mistake again. Thank you very much, and I'm giving the floor to my colleagues.
Thank you, Oksana. Yeah, and after this shortly newsletter and Oksana's speech, we will go actually for topic of our today's meeting. It's about how war connected with art. I guess you already saw some actually of these murals. Actually, they were painted abroad in the Czech Republic, in Poland, and also in France. And it's actually the case how Ukraine are popular like now, not only among Ukrainians artists, but also abroad. Personally, I like so much this one with President Zelensky and this, like, how to say, блискавка, charm, like in Harry Potter.
Lightning.
Da, Alexa?
Lightning.
Lighting, yeah, it's just lighting like in Harry Potter, like Zelensky as Harry Potter. It's like from our artist in Poland. Next slide, maybe. Yeah, Harry Potter. Yeah, and actually, it's really hard, like, for me to like choose only few initiatives how artists help Ukraine, but we chose like this one. They are from abroad. Actually, the first one which you could see, it's United Photographers for Ukraine. It's an initiative from Italian magazine, and together with I guess 100 photographers, they organize this campaign. And the thing is that you could buy a photo of one of the famous photographer by making the donation to support Ukraine. And on their social media, they actually yesterday published the data that they collected 234 euros by this initiative, and this money they gave to the firstly it was Okhmodit, like one of the most biggest hospital in Ukraine. Then they gave this money also for such initiative which we mentioned in our previous session, this is NGO Reporters Without Borders. Oh, sorry, not reporters, Doctors Without Borders, and also to Ukrainian Red Cross. Another initiative is Ptashka. In Ukraine, it translated like a bird. It's like similar initiatives also from photographers. It's from a non-profit organization, ERE. And the thing is that you could download like image from famous photographer, like for any donation for Ukrainians. Yeah. And another initiatives, it's about sunflowers from our friends in Great Britain. Yeah, so the thing is that sunflower like is one of symbol of Ukraine, and one of British craft house. They producing these like sunflower needles quilting craft kit, and 50% they donate like for Ukraine, actually by donating to the Red Cross in Britain, that they and then they pass this money like for helping Ukraine. Another initiative is like digital patterns, or also this like kind of brochures. You can also buy them and by donating for Ukraine. And next slide. It's my yeah. Also, there is initiative in Canada by donating by donating $27, you will have access to like some sessions connected with art. So it's like initiative when you will have like a profit for yourself, but in another way you also help Ukraine, and they then all donation they pass to Canadian Red Cross, and this Canadian Red Cross has like specialized emote for Ukraine. Actually, you can see in this picture that their aim is to collect $10,000, and they already like have like the half of this amount. So if you want go deeply, we also will send presentation for you and share it in forum, and you could follow the link and check these all initiatives. Yeah, and next slide, I guess it will be last from me. Yeah, it's like my favorite one. Actually, it would really hard for me to choose like some photography which could show like the war in Ukraine, because many journalists come to Ukraine to make a picture. Many like photographers who are artists, they also shared. And the thing is that it's really a bit harder to them work. For example, because painter, she could like sit at home and paint picture, but when you are professional photographer, you should go directly to the place in order to take this picture, like in order to like show this picture what is happening in Ukraine. And here we choose only few. It's like there are both Ukrainians photographer who directly work in hotspots. Hotspots. And also there is international photographers. they come to Ukraine in order to make this photography. And it's the background. You can see, yeah, maybe any guesses, because last time you you was successful in guesses. Any guesses where this picture was taken from our Yemi? I guess you know, but maybe someone from our another guest could have any ideas.
There's a very big hint if you look closely.
Yeah. It's easy, guys. Just like you can see with that it's connected with Martel.
Hey, sorry, was it taken in the steel plant? Is it Avasto? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Avasto.
Yeah. As I signed it, that's why it was so a little bit easier. Yeah, there is like at the corner, right corner, you can see that the name of the photographer, and he take it's yeah, it's photo from Dmytro Kozatsky, or him call name is Orest. He is like photographer of Azov regiment, and this photo was taken in Azovstal. And I saw this photo in his like Instagram page, and there was a comment from him that I will say this, Azovstal, this is place of my life and of my death. Yeah. And for now, this is like not the last. I don't want to say not the last, but I don't want to say that it is the last.
For now.
Yeah, photo in him Instagram. Jak?
For now, the last for now.
Okay, the last for now. This is photo in his Instagram, and the thing is that Metro is captured by Russian troops, and he is on occupied territory as another defenders of Azovstal. Yeah, so for that case, you can see how art and how war connected. Actually, he is militant and he defends our country, but at the same time, he is photographer who show like the war for whole worlds. And you can check the Instagram pages and see more. Alexa, maybe you could mouse.
One remark, just one remark. I believe he wrote this. He took these pictures, these photos, and he shared these photos, and he said, wrote, I don't want money for my photo, just share information about Azovstal.
Yeah, and Alexa, maybe like by mouse click wise, not click but show wise him profile, not Veshcha. Yeah. This one, yeah. You can check it in Instagram. Yeah, but and guys, that's why we call you. Remember about Azovstal, and as Alexa said, share information and share like these photos also about Azovstal. Yeah, that's all from me, and now we will go to our guest speakers. Nata, maybe you could introduce.
Yes,
Oh,
sure.
no, I forgot one important slide. It's really important. Oh no, it's also as usual we call you make action, guys. And here is different. There are different ways how you can help Ukraine, not only by donation, by like email your local politicians, by joining rallies, by signing a petition, and by creating your own initiative. For example, last week there was really great initiatives from Philemon. He organized campaign to collecting money actually for Ukraine, like by as a present for his birthday. So if you have any ideas, any initiatives, guys, just do it. Yeah. And now actually I go for to Nata. Give.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Danka. And
Thank you, Danka.
hello. Can I go? Yes.
Please, Nata, go ahead.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So yes, hello everyone again. Every time, as you mentioned, we are trying to find our each session very unique. Nevertheless, we are talking about this difficult topic, about different situations which might be difficult personally for us and for the whole world as well. But still, we are trying to make it attractive to you as well, and interesting and very informative. So this time we devoted our session to the art through war. This was the name of our session, and of course we have so many people influenced by this war, and artists are some of these people. And today we have our two guest speakers, Yulia Polyakova and Natalia Korf-Ivanyuk. They are Ukrainian artists. Each of them, they are working in their own genre, yes, their own art area, and they will introduce themselves and will say how this war influenced their personal lives as well as it influenced their art, yes, how they produce their paintings, what motivated them, how they struggle as the Ukrainians. So Yulia will be the first one, and Yulia is speaking English, so I will not translate her. You will just hear her story, and afterwards Natalia will join and I will translate her. So Yulia, please go ahead, the floor is yours.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you well, Julia.
Okay. For me, it is first time communicating in such way, so yeah.
We hear you perfectly. We see you perfectly.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. My name is Julia Polyakova, and I am an artist. I'm in Chicago now, so for me it is morning, and for you, good evening. When the war started, I was in Egypt with my husband on our honeymoon, because on the 22nd of February we got married in the church, and on the 23rd we flew to Egypt, and 24th the war started, and we woke up from the calls from Kiev, and it was like a surreal dream, this event that happened 24th. I will not describe my condition and all the troubles that we faced in order to fly at least somewhere from Egypt, because sure, I can't compare my problems with the problems of the people who stayed in Ukraine. Yes, I was safe, and I'm safe at the moment, but it is physical and psychological state was serious, and because my parents and friends stayed in Kiev, and whole my life was for there, paintings, everything, and you know, so it's about all my work over the past 7 years, and this is about maybe 300 or maybe 400 paintings. so it's that it can simply be destroyed and disappear. This was very hard for me, and very hard. Yeah. Now, of course, I'm more calm, and because Kiev now is a better and safer situation than at the beginning of the war. Because when everything begins, it seems that that this is the end. Now, I think no, it's not the end. It is the beginning of something new. Before the war, I did combine works in direction of nude. That is, I made a combination of photo collage, computer graphics, and oil painting, something like mix. We call it mixed media. And after the war, the first picture that I made, I did from my phone when I was in Egypt, because I can't just do nothing. I saw people suffering, and I wanted to help somehow. And of course, if I am an artist, I think that I should do it in my own way. So I did a few works in a simple program like Paint in computer, and one of them was sold on the NFT auction for support of Ukrainian army. And of course, content of paintings changed, because before the war it was more light pictures with easy what can I name? Easy pictures. Girls in different poses, no very important sense. And after the war, I wanted to show more deep painting, maybe the true face of the war, and but a little part of erotism stays, because you know, it attracts attention very better than another genres, and it can attract attention to more deeper topics. Previously, for example, in light nude stories, I wrote topics of religion, relationships between people, some philosophical questions, topics of about life after death, and of course now the main topic is war. In general, after the first works, I realized that no matter how strange it it may sound, but erotism and violence are very well combined. I even don't know why, but then I remembered that many painters, for example, like Rubens or so on, they use nude goddess and violence and mix it together. But of course, the motivation to continue creating did not appear immediately. Apparently, after I accepted that I'm not in Kiev, that I can't not return and can't help there, because my first things were to go to Kiev in any way. But then, of course, I decided that it is not very smart to do that. And since I'm here in America, I have to do what I can, and that's all. I think that what I personally can do now, I can show the world what is happening and leave a memory of this war, and people should not forget it. And I think the mission of author is to make the crimes of Russia unforgettable for history, because time passed, years passed, and this war, this genocide should stay in history and people's mind. And even in many years after victory, and I believe in our victory, sure, works will remind every participant or silent compliance of the genocide of the Ukrainian people, who they are and where they belong. So first, when I went to America, the first thing, I went to America because I with my husband, we had visas, and it was the only country where we can go and stay somewhere except Kyiv. So when I got to America, first thing I did was to use all the money to buy a laptop to continue working. There were no special ideas, but at the beginning of the war, there were a lot of events, and reading in the news in the morning, looking at photos, and thoughts came. Many stories will probably not be shown in this presentation because there's a lot of blood and dead Russian soldiers. I never thought that it could be inspiring, but this is the time, and such is war. And I put up works on social networks, and for many of my friends, they were motivating, and it was important for me because I feel that I do some important thing to motivate people. I think now it's important also. And especially much attention was paid to the works with dead Putin, Lukashenko, and Kadyrov. People like visualize these topics, I think. But you know, when I saw news from Bucha, it was more than months ago, it was so shocked that I can't maybe create nice in 3 weeks or 4 weeks because I thought that I can't create something so powerful to show this. But time passed and life went on, and I decided to try to buy canvas and make few works here in America. And I brought them to the Museum of Modern Ukrainian Art in Chicago. The first pictures were with Putin and blood and so on, and maybe it was too much for them, but also they look at these pictures that you showed, they asked me to do this one, and now it is in the museum and will hopefully be sold as a charity auction in support of Ukrainians. I'm lucky that here is a place to live in America, because now I don't earn money at all. My husband earns a little, but I just paint and watch news, and that's all. And it will sound strange, but now my husband and I will live with his previous wife, with her new boyfriend, children, mother who came from Kyiv, like I don't know, big Mormon family. But now, of course, there is a situation that has brought us together, and we help each other. And thanks to those people, I have the opportunity to create, and this is the most important for me now. And of course, important that my friends and parents are safe in Kyiv now, and pictures are safe. And I believe in victory very much, and I believe in fate. And yeah, this picture I made one of the first, and it was about sunflower season, you know, when people say that the Russian soldiers should put some seeds of sunflowers in the pockets to have a good season next year. And, Yeah, what about saying? About the nuclear war. Fatalist, and I was always joking that if nuclear war will be and our civilization will be destroyed, the next civilization will find my paintings in the deep bunker. But hope there is only silly things, and Ukrainian will win. Nuclear war won't begin, and Russian army will be destroyed. Russian empire will be destroyed, and I'm waiting for them. That I think when it started, and I hope it will be soon. I will buy popcorn and just watch that with another millions of people who are waiting for that moment. Want to say thank you for everyone for attention, and if you have some questions or don't have, or I don't know what I should do next.
Yeah, thank you, Julia. Thank you so much. Actually, I think that people can write you in chat. You can see the chat, and if there are any questions, you can answer, or maybe at the end of the session, you will have some time to answer the questions.
Thank you for invitation and opportunity to tell my story to people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Can we just show Julia some love as we always do? Can we please? She's not used to zooming, so I'm sure she will appreciate seeing all the hearts light up on the screen. Julia, can you see the hearts on the screen? Or you can't? Let me see if I can make that easier for you. I know. Let's get rid of spotlights. All right, people, let's light up the screen so she can see it more easily. Can you see them now?
Yeah, I see. Wow.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing and for also getting quite personal with what you shared.
Thank you. Have a good evening, and see you.
Thank you. No, please stay with us. There are going to be questions. So we will open the floor. And so you might get a question from someone in the audience. Okay. So please stay with us.
I just switch off the camera and I will see the chat. Yeah.
Yes, of course. And then you can switch it back on when you want to speak.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. So back to you, Nata. Where do we go now?
Now I will introduce Natalia. As far as I understand, she's already with us. And Natalia will speak Ukrainian. I will translate her. And we will also have some slides with her paintings, and she will share her story. You can see them on the screen already.
Thank you.
Hello.
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 О, Наталю, ти з нами? Ти починай, говори просто потрошки речення, я тебе буду перекладати, так, щоб не багато зараз.
Перше, вибачте за те, що я не можу там розмовляти так вільно, як Юлія, англійською. Вибачайся від мене, але я буду намагатися казати не дуже.
Natalia is just apologizing for not speaking English, but this is fine, this is totally fine, so don't worry.
Запитую, що мені потрібно розповідати.
Просто розкажи про цю свою серію робіт, про цих ангелів твоїх чорних. От можеш розповісти свою особисту історію війни. Там далі будуть слайди також з твоїми картинами. От що тебе надихнуло на це?
Слухай, все сталося таким чином, що 24 числа, коли відбулося неминуче, перше, що я поклала у валізу, коли збиралася їхати із висотнього будинку до частного сектора. Перше, що я поклала у валізу, це була фарба, це був папір і пензлі. Тобто це 100%. Я ніскільки не брешу, бо так воно і справді і було. Бо валіза в нас була не зібрана, я туди поклала матеріали, бо це...
Стоп, треба перекладати. Okay, so Natalia is starting with her story, with her personal story, which is very similar to each of us, I mean, for us Ukrainians, that when the war started on the 24th of February, she said that the first things she packed to her suitcase was brush, paper and paintings, because she an artist and she was moving from the blocked building with the apartments to the private house to stay in this house. So she packed her stuff and she put her painting stuff with her.
Я просто зрозуміла, що, можливо, це єдине, що може залишитись у мене із робіт взагалі, бо тоді було незрозуміло, що буде в Києві відбуватися, і я трималася і дорожила тіма 20 листками, і там кілька кольорів, це була туш, як тобі простіше, чи туш, чи акварель скажеш. Це було єдине на той момент, що залишилось у мене від 20 років творчої роботи.
And Natalia is saying that she has been an artist for 20 years, and at those moments at her apartment she had only 20 paintings with her, and she had like 20 papers, yes, and just some paintings, some brushes. So she took it with her immediately because she understood that only these works can survive if she can take with her to her new place.
І на наступний же день, коли почалися регулярні повітряні тривоги, щоб якось себе розрадити, заспокоїти і емоційно не впадати в паніку, єдине, що я могла тоді, єдине, що мене рятувало в той момент, емоційно, перш за все, це малювання. І на наступний же день у мене почалася ця серія під назвою «Чорні янголи», щоб якось себе емоційно спасти просто в цій ситуації.
Yes, and she's explaining that even on the next day, the air sirens were among the Kiev, so she listened to all of this, she heard the sounds, these terrible sounds, and painting and this process of painting, it was only one process which could help her with her feelings, with her emotions, because it was very hard for her to stay in this situation, and yes, it saved her emotionally.
Чому взагалі тема відродження? Тоді я в той момент і зараз я відчуваю, що весь цей жах, який відбувається, він для мене, тема взагалі, мабуть, краще так сказати, що тема відродження для мене це таке, знаєш, сфумато або симбіоз гармонії, краси і чогось жахливого, як і ця вся ситуація, яка зараз відбувається в Україні.
And actually, all her paintings, this topic is covered by the name like Black Angels, and it's related to the Renaissance period. And why Renaissance? Because there are like the combination of good and bad, of black and white, yes, and which can be all together, which was happening the same in real time in Ukraine at that time. So this inspired Natalia to go back to Renaissance period.
Я взяла за основу роботи всесвітньо відомих майстрів епохи відродження і трансформувала їх по-своєму, дивлячись новини, дивлячись кожного дня, просто телевізор не виключався, це було 24/7, все, що відбувається, я транслювала через своє враження та епоху відродження.
And she took as the basis for her paintings the most famous paintings of the Renaissance artists, and she transformed these paintings in her own way, because Natalia is saying that she was watching the TV all the time, like 24 hours a day, watching the news, watching what is happening in our country, and this was a basis for her paintings.
Ось, наприклад, верни перед цим слайд. Зараз я просто скажу просто про самі роботи. Перед цим там було. Назад. Якщо можеш. Можеш?
Так.
Ось, наприклад, перша робота. Тут алегорія Мадонна в оточенні чорних янголів. Ця робота називається «Наближення». Тобто, коли ворог підійшов занадто близько. Тобто, Мадонна як уособлення нашої країни, чорні янголи як уособлення зла. Робота називається «Наближення». Наступна – це Буча, жінки, яких гвалтували нелюди, тобто уособлення, ну ти зрозуміла, чорний янгол і жінка, яку роздирають на частини.
And now Natalia is explaining the paintings on the slide you can see. So the first one is related to Madonna, which is surrounded by the black angels. And the name of the painting is approaching.
Занадто близько. Ворог
Так, так. So the name of the painting is approaching, and you can see that the angels are so close, and it means that our enemy was so close to Ukrainians. So this is an allegory. And the second painting you can see, it's about like kind of Bucha, what was happening in Bucha, because many women were raped. And here you can see that this black angel is attacking this woman. And again, Natalia put this sense in this painting.
Ну, можеш наступний, да.
Yeah, go next.
Це присвята Маріуполю, називається «Дорогою ціною». Це Соломея, ну, якщо це класична робота, то це Соломея з головою Іоанна Хрестителя. Я не знаю, як ти це переведеш. Ну, тобто це такий відкуп дорогою ціною, відкуп наших захисників за свободу і спокій наразі в тих регіонах, де більш-менш спокійно, де ми зараз можемо прокидатися хоча б спокійно. Тобто це алегорія на цю роботу.
Yes, the picture you can see on the left side of the screen is it's about Mariupol, and it's related to some again famous painting. I'm not sure I can translate it correctly because this is the name of the woman which is mentioned here on the picture, but it reminds us that the price which Mariupol has paid for our freedom, yes, and for our safety, which we are like more or less safe now, we need to remember about it, and it is appeared here on this painting.
Ну і так, на протязі майже вже 100 днів, 90 днів війни, я зображувала всі найтрагічніші, найпіковіші моменти в розвитку цієї ситуації. І зараз таким чином народилася серія з 20 цих графічних робіт, які я буду презентувати в цю суботу, на День Києва.
Yes, and actually the coming Saturday, which will be the day of Kiev, it's like the following Saturday, Natalia will present all her 20 works which were created during this period. She created 20 paintings, and she created this series of black angels. And actually, yes, during the whole war, like during 90 days, over 90 days, she was creating all these pictures, all these paintings.
Ну, кажи, що ще розказувати, бо я...
Ну, це, в принципі, останній слайд твій, тобто можеш, якщо по цих картинах щось сказати.
Це присвята жінка-воїн, тобто це така осучаснена Суламів з головою Олоферна відрізаною. Жінки наші українські, вони воюють наряду з чоловіками, захищають свою країну. І це, коли стираються ця межа гендерна і заради спільності духу, заради єдності, заради перемоги, це багато чого, це вартує багато чого. Тому ця присвята окремо йде жінкам-воїнам.
And in the middle of the screen on this slide, you can see that there is a woman which is kind of a soldier of the and she is a defender of our country. And Natalia is explaining that not only men are fighting for our country and are fighting for our freedom, but also Ukrainian women, they are fighting, and we need to say about this like gender balance in our army among our defenders, and she devoted this picture to our women defenders. So I think actually that's it from Natalia's side. She explained like the composition of her paintings, how the paintings were created, etc. So actually, like again, the same as to Julia, you can ask Natalia maybe not in chat because she might not answer, but you can ask me, I will translate to her, and you can just talk to both ladies. Thank you so much. Дякую, Наталі.
Дякую. Дякую.
All right, excellent. Maybe it's time to teach us how to say thank you in Ukrainian.
Дякую.
Дякую.
Yes.
All right, so дякую, Natalia. Thank you.
You, Natalia. Sounds good.
All right, thank you so much. So the floor, I guess, is open now. Is that okay, Danka? And Nata, can we open the floor now? Okay. All right, family. So the floor is open. Thank you so much for being here. We can now ask questions, and you can ask either questions to our Ukrainian family, or you can ask questions to our special guests. So Natalia is here. Julia is also here. Please. So just raise your hand if you want to ask a question. Use the Zoom app and raise your hand and you get the mic. I see a hand from Joseph Banzi. Please unmute yourself. You've got the floor. You have a question or comment?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, let me appreciate the paintings of Natalia. That was awesome, very nice and amazing. I can't believe she painted that with her own hands. He's serious artist.
Joseph, just wait. Let Nata translate that. So Nata, you want to translate?
Sure. Наталі, так, Банзі дякує тобі, він дуже вражений саме твоїми картинами і каже, що не може повірити, що ти намалювала це власними руками. Ну, що ти як митець, яка малює, так.
Так, скажімо, що це дуже приємно і наразі це в мене ця серія, яка зовсім інакша серед всього мого періоду творчості. Тобто вона відрізняється дуже сильно. Так, мабуть, сильно я її емоційно пережила, бо вся інша творчість моя є, скажи, що геть просто іншою.
Yes, Natalia is thanking you so much, and she's saying that this series of paintings are very different from those she was creating before, but of course it can be understood because war influenced her much. Yes.
All right, so Joseph,
so
continue. Yes, please.
Well, so the other one is a question. I found a circular asking for signatures to support Ukraine. And though I did sign my signature, I followed the prompt and then filled all. But I want to find how authentic is it, if it is really authentic, so that I can post the link to other colleagues of mine to also sign. So I want to know, is it authentic?
All right, thank you, Joseph. I guess that's a question for our Ukrainian family. Where did you find this link? Was it on the UPG forum or somewhere else?
Somewhere else.
Okay, so what I would suggest is if you can share the link with our Ukrainian family, right? You know, we have a United for Ukraine topic on the forum. Team, if we can post the link so that Joseph has easy access, you can post it there and then they'll tell you if it's authentic. Is that okay, Joseph?
Well, it's difficult whether I can go back trace it because I was part of the social media that I chanced it, and then I don't know whether I'll try and find out whether I can get the link in and post it.
Okay, please, if you can, because I'm sure you can imagine that there are many campaigns that demand people's signatures. So if you want them to check for you, if you have something from it, then they can check. Okay, whether it's a link, an image, just anything. All right, but thank you for asking. And one of the things our Ukrainian family has told people they are happy to do is they're happy to help you check if something is fake news or if it's authentic. So thank you for bringing that up, Joseph. We will post the link to the topic in the chat and you can use that. Anybody can use that if you have that kind of question. All right, thank you so much. All right, so we have the link already in the Zoom chat. Thank you, Gochi. So hands for any comments or questions. Our Lely, you got the microphone. Please unmute and share. Thank you.
very much, Yemi. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. All right. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to Danka, Oksana, and Nata, who always trying to educate all of us, all of the UPGSL and the UPG fellows about Ukraine, and we really feel the pain, we feel the frustration, and we try to do our best in our capacity to help Ukraine in our own way. I have a question to both artists. I personally am not an artistic person. I don't really understand the value of art, but seeing what you already presented, I personally can feel how you put your heart in making those amazing, beautiful arts. So my question is, when you do that, what exactly are in your mind? Like, what exactly you're picturing in terms of your, maybe it can be hope, it can be your frustration or anything. Thank you very much.
Наталі, я перекладу питання до тебе. В принципі, це до вас обох було питання. От Лейлі так питає, що каже, вона взагалі не є людиною мистецтва, але вона дуже, їй сподобались ваші роботи, вона побачила, що ви вкладаєте туди душу, і от вона запитала, що стоїть за цим, що мотивує вас робити, тобто, можливо, це якісь почуття, емоції, там, це може бути страх, якась фрустрація, тобто, що вас мотивує, все-таки вона говорила, мабуть, так, за ці роботи.
All right, and maybe Julia can go first, since she probably heard it directly in English, and then Natalia can go.
The sound is good, yeah?
Yes, perfect.
For me, I think that creating is the way to not to concentrate only on events that are around me, because first days I was just watching news 24 hours a day, and it was very hard emotionally to be concentrated on this and can't help. And then I decided that the first thing I should do, I should care about myself, and if I'm safe, and so I should do something not to become crazy about the situation. And that's why I just take computer and started to do something, and I don't know, but I just do the process as usual, but use more actual photos that people, my friends and people who I don't know in the network post. So I don't know, just wanted to not to explain what I feel, just want to remember myself in a few maybe years, this period of time, and I hope that in the future it will send to me that some, I don't know, adventure, I hope. And of course, also when I see my friends motivated by my paintings, for me it is best compliment. That's all. And also, if I don't paint, I don't create, so I don't see the reason to live, because I don't see my who I am. And when I create, I feel I feel like I found my place in this world.
Наталя, ти можеш відповісти.
Ну, дивися, мені здається, дуже актуальною фразою, до якої я завжди притримуюся, це тільки дійсно відчуте, чесно відчуте мистецтво має право бути зображене на полотні. І можеш сказати це одразу?
Natalia is saying that there is a phrase, like a sentence, that only those things which you feel can be truly expressed on the paintings, and they have rights to be there on the painting.
А дана ситуація, ця страшна вся трагедія і реальність, яка зараз відбувається в нашій країні, вона не могла бути осторонь, ця тема не могла бути осторонь художників, бо тут уже сприймається мистецтво як зброя. Це також наш свого роду культурний фронт, який транслює цю ситуацію і дає можливість показати людям, які не знаходяться всередині, показати і сказати їм правду. Тому це така наша
Natalia is also saying that
мистецтво як зброя. Ми також воюємо, скажи.
Yes, that all the situation, all this war couldn't have like any influence on the artist. Of course, it had a big influence on the artist as well. And Natalia is saying that her paintings is her weapon, and she is fighting with this type of weapon, defending the country. So it's just like our cultural code, and just it's her way to defend the country. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Whose hand do I take next? All right, I'm going to go for Judith and then Y next. All right, and then keep your hands up. I'll come back to you. So Judith, you got the floor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Natalia, Yulia. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your work with us all. I was wondering whether both of you could speak a little bit about the role of art in healing Ukraine when this is now and when this is over and you're rebuilding your country. I wondered if you could talk about the role you see that art will play in personally healing people but also healing yourself culturally as a country. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Julia, if you can prepare to go first, please, while Nata does the translation. But Nata, you do the translation, and Julia, you can prepare. So after Nata talks, Julia, then you will speak after Nata.
Так, Наталі, Юля відповість перша англійська, але я поки тобі перекладу, щоб ти теж подумала. Джудіт запитала і хочу почути вашу думку про те, як мистецтво особисто, як на вашу думку, мистецтво впливає на людей, як воно надихає суспільство і яку роль воно буде відігравати в майбутньому, коли вже буде відбуватись, відбудова, коли станеться перемога. От що ви можете сказати на цю тему?
Ната, мені здається, Джудіт сказала про зцілення мистецтвом. Ні?
Healing?
Healing, зцілення.
Healing.
Ні? Healing.
Healing. Like to recover.
Healing.
Так, зцілення, типу, як мистецтво може зцілити.
Так. Сорі, Наталі, як мистецтво може зцілити.
I just put it in the Zoom chat.
Yes, sorry, my fault, yes.
Юля перша, да?
Так, Юля перша.
About healing, maybe for artists who create, art can be healing because, for example, if you have too many negative emotions, aggression, so you can just express it in your painting. So of course it can heal because if you do some hard and deep emotional work, you just избавляешься.
Get rid of.
Yeah, these hard emotions. And for people who watch art, I think it is important that people can know that these bad feelings, aggression, and bad emotion to, for example, Russian people, it is not bad in this moment, and that they feel, the many people that another people feel the same, and you are not alone, and to be not kind always it is normal, because some people, they're afraid to say something maybe rude, or because they don't know how they will be look like. They want to be kind always, but we are just people, and we have that emotion that we have. And of course, when you see your friends dying, your places where you have been many times ruined, destroyed, these bombs, these soldiers who kill our women. Of course, you can't think very good things about this. And when you create, you can a little bit
share
with another people by your pain. And when you see that many people feel the same, it is for me, it is a little it is легче. Natalia, легше.
It's getting easier for me.
It's getting easier to share your emotions, because when you always keep it inside, it can ruin, destroy you from the inside. And when you share, it comes easier. And of course, art can't heal, like in this meaning of the word heal, but art can save this situation and these events for the next generation. Because, for example, now in Russia, they try to write a new history where there is no Kiev Rus, where there's no Ukraine, and so on. But if artists from another countries will create pictures and show this situation how they see it, and not like propaganda shows, so it even in 10 years, 20 years, people can see what happened. Because if nobody will do art, for example, some sites and like Wikipedia, someday it can be rewritten with a new history, who knows. And if you do art, so it will be in 10 years and 20 years, you will see what happened. That's also, I hope.
Thank you. Наталі,
Я не знаю,
про стілення.
Не знаю, що сказала Юля, можливо, я там буду повторюватися, але справа в тому, що так стається, що кожна епоха і кожне покоління переживає якусь таку ситуацію. Повоєнне мистецтво, воно було, воно, на жаль, повторюється, воно має право бути. Скажи спочатку це.
Yes, Natalia is saying that unfortunately our history is going by circle. So every period of the life, each population faces some kinds of war, conflicts, etc. And this term of the war art, it's not the new thing. Yes, it's existing even before. So it was like her story.
А коли занепадає культурний фронт, то, мабуть, тоді настає справжній крах держави. Тому художники повинні, не просто мають право, вони не просто мають себе змушувати. Це їхня пряма місія – зображувати, транслювати все, що відбувається на папері чи на полотні. Бо коли кожен буде займатися своєю справою, тоді буде лад і принаймні якийсь порядок. Ну, тобто, скажи те, що спочатку, що я сказала, що якщо занепадає культурний фронт, то наступає крах. І місія кожного художника – зображувати, творити і не зупинятися.
And Natalia is also saying that the mission of each artist is to create. And as she mentioned before, like she was fighting with her weapon and her weapon was painting, yes? So it's necessary for each country, for each state to have their cultural front and cultural fund to be in place to go live. Because when it's dying, the nation will be dying as well, because it's just like one piece. And that's why she sees her mission to do her job, yes, to paint, to influence this way.
Але я все ж таки думаю і притримуюсь цієї думки, що мистецтво все ж таки повинно лікувати душі. Тому я впевнена, що на зміну прийде час, і на зміну цьому повоєнному мистецтву, мистецтву складних, тяжких часів прийде мистецтво відродження.
And Natalia is continuing saying that she is thinking and she's deeply persuaded that the art should heal people. And she's saying very promising that instead of this art of war, the art of Renaissance will come. I mean, the art will be revived and will heal people this way. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all from her side.
All right, big thank you. Thank you so much. Great question, Judith. Thank you. All right, so Wei, I believe you were next. If you're ready, you got the microphone.
Thank you, Yemi. Thank you for taking my hands. And I'm Wei from Myanmar. So we're still currently under a military coup that I've mentioned in my first sections when I joined the United for Ukraine sections. So we're still with you, my fellow Ukrainians. It's just my utmost respect to Natalie and Julia for amazing artworks that you contributed toward this cause. And yes, as Natalie said, and I support that, art is also a weapon. I myself is not a creative person, and art is far topic for me, but when my country is under military coup, art helped me to understand the situations of what's happening in a quickest and fastest way. So people are just putting a one pictures speaks millions words instead of me reading news. Arts give me information. So it's a very important role that you're playing. And in my country, art is being killed by the junta because they speak up, because they draw what's happening. So it's very sad, and some has to leave their families behind to run to free from getting killed, but they still are ongoing and supporting the cause to restore democracy and freedom back in our country. And the arts have also contributed the fundings, while we have to buy weaponaries to fight back the soldiers of our soldiers who is using our tax money to kill our own people. So it is very sad, but yeah, we've done auctions through arts to raise like a lot of monies to support our country. So it's just my appreciation for doing what you're doing. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Wei. Thank you so much. All right, the next hand, Mapfumo. Chipinda, Mapfumo, you've got the microphone. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, am I audible?
You're audible and visible.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry if we have any background noise. I'm still at work, so we might have some noise in the background. But I just wanted to appreciate Natalie, and I wanted to appreciate Julia for the art. You know, art speaks a whole different language than any words can say. Art just speaks something very unique. You may not know what she's saying. I couldn't hear what she was saying. Of course, I heard what Nata was translating, but I could see what she was saying, and that was just something different. And I wanted to just thank the people who attend these sessions and Yemi and the UPG team, because it's painful for me that we have come to a point whereby I don't know if it's the generation, if it's the time we're living in, where we can normalize conflict, we can normalize war as something that can happen and we can move on. You know, when we started in February, the war in Ukraine was the headlines in every news, even in our local news. It was the first thing they would put there. But right now, it has only gotten worse. But then no one seems to speak of it much or to even focus on it. And to me, that's something that's painful, because there are so many conflicts that have been going on in the world right now. But people can have the ability to move on, and just because the bullets are not flying in their own home states, they feel like we can ignore this, we can act like it's not happening, we cannot contribute in a way. You know, there's a saying in Africa, I come from Zimbabwe, and we have a saying in our culture which translates to English as I am because we are. In our language is umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. A person is a person by the people, right? And what it basically says is that if there is a place with no peace, then we are not at peace. You cannot say in Zimbabwe we are at peace when in Ukraine they're at war. It's something. So we come to a point, I don't know how best I can communicate this, but I'm just saying, starting with us, let's refuse to normalize a conflict as something that is now just background news, as something that is just happens and we can move on with our lives because it's no longer showing on our TVs. But we can be proactive as we are right now. And art is one of those languages. Art is one of those languages where even from wherever you are, you can speak, and you don't need to speak the language. You don't need to speak Ukrainian. You don't even need to speak Russian for you to portray a message to the people in Russia, the citizens, the Russians, who also know that this atrocity is happening. So let's continue, and let's refuse to normalize such issues and such conflicts as something that can just happen in the background, and we move on with our lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can we show him some love? That was so powerfully delivered. Thank you so much. And I don't know if our guests want to respond or react, but that was beautiful. Thank you. And by the way, you said you're still at work. What city are you in? You said you're in Zim, but what city?
I'm in Nyanga Mutare. I work just right in between Nyanga Mutare in the Eastern Islands. I work at a timber company. I'm an engineer. I'm a student.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for checking in with us while you are at work. That alone is inspiring. And of course, thank you for your message. Do our guests or even our Ukrainian family want to react or respond? You've got the floor. Alexandra, of course you can. Please go ahead. Please unmute. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you remember that I can't find that button when it's needed. I believe if I understood correctly, Mapfumo, I believe I said your name correctly. You told about the war and that it continues because the bully is not punished. I catch this idea of your message, and I want to remember that I believe at previous meeting, Mariami from Georgia said that the war in Ukraine is happening because Russia wasn't punished in 2008 when Russia invaded Georgia. And one more thing, Russia wasn't punished. I added from myself. Russia wasn't punished in 2014 when it annexed Crimea and occupied Donbas region, part of Donetsk and Luhansk region in Ukraine. So the war in Ukraine started on 2014, and the thing that started on it's just guys, help me to translate. Intifada phase, on February,
like full-scale invasion, maybe.
On February this year, it was full-scale invasion started. So this was the next phase of war that already was started in 2014. So yes, I truly agree with you. War continues because bully is not punished. And on our previous sessions, we showed many examples when Russia started some war or some military aggression in other countries, and it wasn't punished, and it lasted for decades. So I truly thank you for you understand it, and the thing that you understand it means that you share it. So I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Marfuna.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Alexandra. Sending you love. Anybody else want to react, respond? Julia, Natalia, Oksana, Danka, anybody want to react, respond? Oh, there's no need. All right, you don't. But if you want to, you've got the mic. All right. If not, we can keep moving, and you will have a chance to come back and comment on this. So the last hand I'm taking is Muihaki. Muihaki, if you're still there, please unmute. You've got the microphone.
Okay, thank you so much, Yemi. I'll start by saying I'm so glad to be alive at this time and age where women are in the front line of even war. You see, we're here courtesy of Nata, Alexandra, Oksana, Iria, and here we are having Julia and Natalia doing amazing things in terms of art. I've checked your Instagram accounts. I can say you're doing such a tremendous job, and keep up. I have two questions. One is, how long does it take you to do one painting on average? And the other one would be, do you have an opportunity to auction your paints or sell them out to support your country? Or what happens after you've painted? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will translate to Natalia, and I think Yulia will start answering. So, Наталі, було два питання. Перше, як довго в середньому займає виконання, малювання, створення однієї роботи в середньому? А друге питання, чи є можливість виставити ці картини на аукціоні, щоб підтримати Україну на будь-якому аукціоні? So, Yulia, I think you can start answering.
About the first question, I can say that me, if I have inspiration, I can do one work maybe in 1 hour if I have an idea. But sometimes I have an idea, but it is not very clear to me, so I can start one day, then nothing good can do something good, and the second day try again, and the third, and when I can't end the previous work, I can't start new one, because I'm always thinking that I should do something to make these things that I do now better. So it can take 1 hour, it can take a week thinking and waiting for idea, inspiration, or something else. And about the second question, I had, before the war, I had an account on different galleries like Saatchi Art, where I was selling my art, and I mean the real paintings. And now they close the function to sell from Ukraine, so I create an account from USA, and but I have just maybe 3 pictures here to try to sell, and I also tried to put in them to sell as NFT, but I'm not very good in this thing, so if somebody want to order something, I can create by demand and send from here, of course.
Так, тепер я щодо часу написання робіт, то перша частина цих робіт була написана переважно вночі, бо коли тривога, ти просто цілу ніч не спиш і сидиш, і треба щось робити. Коли стало зараз спокійніше в Києві, ми повернулися, то зараз це день, і це десь кілька днів на одну роботу йде.
Да, я перекладу. So regarding the first question, Natalia is saying that when the war started, it was so like dangerous and uncomfortable for her, and there were lots of air sirens, so she couldn't sleep at night, and that's why she's saying that she was painting during the night. And now when it's more or less safe, and now she's painting at the daytime, but to create one painting, it takes her a couple of days.
Щодо подальшої долі робіт, то спочатку я дійсно хотіла показати роботи тут, в Україні, для свого глядача, це по-перше, а далі я планую, звичайно, їх показувати далі. Є пропозиції, і ще від початку цієї серії десь з половини робіт вже приймають участь на благодійних аукціонах, зокрема це NFT, і постери також беруть участь в галереях на продажу допомогу коштів Україні.
Yes, and regarding the second questions, Natalia is saying that first of all, she wanted to present her paintings here in Kyiv in Ukraine, and that's why she was mentioning that this Saturday she will have her exhibition opening at the day of Kyiv. And of course, she wants her paintings going further abroad and to tell the story of Ukraine, yes, and that's why even now almost the half of the paintings are at the different auctions. She said like NFT, for example, and of course the paintings are used for some posters as support for Ukraine as well.
Але скажи, що я тільки за те, щоб далі показувати цю серію, і якщо є можливість також на допомогу, я би розглянула будь-яку там пропозицію, аби в подальшому якнайдовше продовжити життя цієї експозиції по різним країнам.
And Natalia is also open for any proposal that might have. These proposals might help Ukraine to promote the situation in our country, to tell the story of our country, and she wants them to be as long as it's possible alive. This series of work, this Black Angels. So if there are any proposal, you can contact her as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I believe that we are now bringing this to a close. And so if I may just ask that we maybe prepare for any closing thoughts. As usual, we will invite our Ukrainian brothers and sisters to share any closing thoughts. But before we go to them, I'd like to invite our guests to share any closing thoughts that they want to leave us with. Any closing thoughts that they want to leave us with. Maybe Nata, you can translate. And while she's translating,
Sure.
Julie, you can prepare.
Наталі, так, ми вже будемо завершувати нашу зустріч. Ємі просить вас поділитися такими невеличкими заключальними так реченнями промови з вашого боку. От подумай, що ти хочеш сказати, поки Джулія може відповісти.
I hope that in future we will remember those events and understand that it was needed because it creates something new in our country, in our nation, and maybe this situation helps us to become more kind to each other, I mean Ukrainians, because in real life Ukrainians always argue with each other, and now this war it takes us together to become one strong power who are fighting with world's evil, and maybe this war will be one of the most important moments of our new history. This it will bring new page of history in Ukraine, and maybe in globally in the world. Maybe also it opens a new page. And I hope the new world that will be maybe in a few years, maybe after our lives will end, but this new world will be more kind and more open for people who wants to bring something good to people who wants to create and not to destroy. Maybe and other people will understand that creating is better than destroying. And if you want to left something upon you in a history, you should create, not destroy. I hope this situation will help.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julie.
Наталі, я скажу буквально там кілька фраз, наприклад, зі своєї невеликої концепції. Війна – це варварство, коли нападають на мирного сусіда, але це освячений борг, коли захищають свою батьківщину. Ну, можеш сказати спочатку цю частину. Війна – це варварство, коли нападають на мирного сусіда, але освячений борг, коли захищають свою батьківщину.
Yes, Natalia wants to start with the phrase which were on her first slide, which like we translated in English, that war is a barbarism when a peaceful neighbor is attacked, but it's a sacred duty when defending the motherland.
Я відчуваю, і в моїх роботах з'явилися наприкінець білі янголи, а це значить, що перемога буде обов'язково, вона близька, і зараз нам триває болісна відбудова нашої материзни, нашої батьківщини, захист її, перш за все. Ну, скажи.
Yes, and she's saying that at the end of the series of her work, finally white angels have appeared. So Natalia she believes in our victory. She knows that our victory will happen and that our country will be revived.
Я вірю, що відродження, воно обов'язково відродить, адже наразі майже весь світ, він як єдиний кулак в спілці допомогти і підтримати український народ. Тому дякую за сьогоднішню зустріч. Вона також є важливою краплиною в океані нашої перемоги майбутньої.
Yes, and Natalia is saying that Renaissance will help revive our country, and she is observing how united the world is helping Ukraine, helping us, and she is very appreciative, and she's thank you all of you who joined this session. And she said that even our session today is one step towards our victory for being united here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And in forgive me, I hope I pronounce it properly, or you can correct me. Дякую. I'll keep practicing.
Дякую. Слава Україні!
Slava Ukraine. All right, thank you so much. All right, I want to give the floor again before we close. We will listen to the Ukrainian national anthem. I want to give the floor now to our Ukrainian family. Anything you want to say as we close? Any words, any thoughts, anything?
Well, yeah, I think this session was special because it was devoted to the art. And as we said before, art doesn't need words. Yes, you just need to observe it. So I think that from my side, I will say that I will say just a few words. I enjoyed our session together with you. And as usually, I thank everyone for joining us, for joining now, for joining in future, and for joining in the previous sessions. So let's observe art. And let's observe our victory in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Who wants to go next?
Me. I want to be next. I found the button, but not that one. Sorry. Oh, such okay, it was very, I guess this topic was very much needed because it is something that, as Nata mentioned, it doesn't need, you don't have to know many languages to describe, to see, to feel when you see. And oh God, I forgot who said that, but when Natalia spoke in Ukrainian, he told that he understood, he saw what she was talking. So he even when she was talking, but this is art. This is something that without border at all. And I wanted to say so much, so many words today. I want to say big thank you to our family for you to come to every week. I try to catch up with chat, but it's I just can't read all the messages. But what I saw, Benzi wrote that he remembers Anna. I believe it was Anna from Mariupol, and he is worried. How is she? So he remembers it. And then Muhaki, please show me the sign if I pronounce your name correctly.
It was good. It was good.
I suffer every time because I think that I made a mistake. So Muhaki, when I believe Natalia told about when she packed her stuff to leave home when the full-scale invasion started, and Muhaki wrote on the chat that that reminded her when I told, like, I packed my documents. You remember that? I can't even. I don't think. Okay, I believe that you can imagine, but when we read those messages, so you remember those things, and we are like, oh, so teary because you remember, and it's so precious to us. And I would like to share some horrible things. I just can't not to say that because it's truly important, and it's needed to be said. This week we heard horrible news about during this full-scale invasion, almost 230 Ukrainian kids, 230,000 Ukrainian kids were kidnapped and deported to Ukraine. It's a huge number. It's horrible number. And what is it if it's not genocide? So they want to erase our culture. They want to erase our future. And this is totally in the context that our artist said today about. And the next horrible thing.
But can I just ask you to clarify? You said they were kidnapped and deported to
Russia.
From Ukraine to Russia.
Okay. Just to make sure that's clear. Okay.
Yeah.
I said something wrong. Yeah.
I think you swapped the countries, but that's totally fine.
Oh.
No, that's fine. I think we understood, but it's good you've
Yeah.
been able to clarify.
Yes.
Please
Yes,
continue.
Thank you. And then it's truly emotionally. And the next horrible thing that now in Kherson region, something horrible is going on. And our ombudsman said that this is the next Bucha. And our ombudsman published this news that Russians raped 12 and 15 years old girl, and a little girl who is only 6 months old, with a teaspoon, and 2 years old twins in front of their mothers, and 3-year-old boy. And all those kids, they died. They didn't survive. And my sister posted, well, my sister is very light person, and she has 3-year-old boy, her son. And after that news on her Instagram, which is very light social, very light and positive page, she wrote those words: I don't want to write this ruthless and horrible news which I just read, but after that I want to kill that man with my arms, having nothing in my arms, just sorry, with my hand. And recently I remember when I saw on internet those videos when father beats and threw away his little kids from 1 month to 3 years old, and the other parent woman is shooting a video at that moment, and 9 videos from 10 there was Russians. And for these people it is normal to abuse their children. What kind of human they are? And her next words were, tomorrow, as usually, I will say you good morning, and I will show my desserts. She bakes desserts and cakes. But tonight, have a calm night. Please take care of yourself and of the closest ones. These are my final thoughts. I'm sorry if I leaving you with this tough or hard news, but I truly believe that if you give us this opportunity to speak, so I couldn't not to use it.
Thank you.
So these horrible things, they are happening, and they are happening now.
Thank you so much for sharing. No apology, no regret. We need to hear this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Danka, did you find your voice?
Yeah, I can, I guess. It really was emotional, Alexa, and thank you for sharing, even if it was so emotional, hard for you. I will tell shortly. I, as always, thank you all, and not also. I'm not also. I'm not only thank you for coming for this event, but I also thank you for every action which you do to stop this horrible war in Ukraine. If you have like any ideas how you can support Ukraine or do something, just do it, just do. And also, if you have any ideas what topic you want to learn more, just message us on forum, and we will try find this information. We will try find speaker. We are here for you guys, yeah. And hope to see you all in next session. It would be in June 2nd of June at 6 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so hope to see you, and thank you again.
All right, thank you so much. I just want to do a quick check if anybody else. Oksana, did you want to say something? We haven't forgotten you.
Yes, actually, I wanted to add just a couple of words to what Alexandra said before. She mentioned the horrors which are going on now in Kherson. and not just in Kherson, also in Mariupol and other towns. And I wanted to underline again that we cannot ignore that. We cannot let our politicians to make this be a price for peace. Just the things that I said before. Please raise your voice and please make a difference and make them, I don't know, awake and understand what is going on. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the final word is with me before we close. I want to say big thank you to our special guests. Thank you for joining us. You don't come every week, but you were here this time and you made it super special. Thank you. And your artwork is beautiful, as everybody said. It's really powerful. It's powerful now, and it will be powerful tomorrow. I believe one of you said that if there's nuclear war, they will find your art in the bunkers. You're absolutely correct. Because if you look back to how we remember civilizations, whether it's the Romans or the Egyptians, it's actually through art. So it's quite funny that we treat art as it's some soft subject, when it's actually what generations will remember us by. So thank you for your work. Jakuyu, thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to our Ukrainian family. Thank you for the creativity you bring to what we do. And thank you for the way you use this platform. Remember, we love you. We are with you. You don't ever need to feel, oh my God, was I too harsh? The reality here is somebody's invading your home. And week after week, you're here trying to be objective and balanced. Thank you for your example. Thank you for the hard work you obviously put into this every single week. Thank you. Thank you to the audience, the regulars and the newcomers. Thank you so much. In fact, most of my remarks now are to you. All the signs are that this is a long war. This is not the first time in history that we've had long wars, where good faces up against evil. And in these moments, the good people are always told that humanity will forget. The good people, the citizens will forget. They will get tired. Those who perpetrate evil, when they set out for a long war, what they do is to try to remind us that we should be tired. Did you see those headlines? That I think it was it Nata or Oksana who shared the headlines with us? They would try to remind us that we should be tired, that we can't afford a long war. They would try to destroy the unity that we have. Today, the world is united, but evil doesn't rest. They're going to try to break us apart. You know what we must do, right? If evil is not resting, can good rest? We cannot rest. We have to be ready to say we are not tired. And I ask you to ask yourself, are we ready to contribute to this victory, however long it takes? Are you ready to contribute to this victory, however long it takes? I need you to ask yourself this after we hang up. Are you ready to contribute to this victory, however long it takes? My answer is yes. And if you need any motivation, this war is not about Ukraine. Even Russia says so. Russia is angry about other things and they invade Ukraine. Nothing less than victory is acceptable in this war. But we're not going to get there unless we are united. And the enemy's biggest weapon is to drag it out and hope that we get tired. Your presence is a sign that we are not tired. So I'm sending you love, all of you. Your presence is a sign that we are united. And I want you to know that it is an act of resistance every time you simply show up. And as Danka said, if you have ideas to do more, please just do it. Every little helps. As our brother Mapfumo said, we cannot say in Zimbabwe that we are at peace when Ukraine is at war. As the Honorable, the late, great Reverend Martin Luther King once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Those words were true when he spoke it, they were true before he spoke it, and they're still true now. And who has the power to ensure we have justice? We do. We, the people, actually have that power. Just in case you forgot, we, the people, have the power that we give to the leaders and to the governments. Just in case you forgot, no leader is legitimate unless they are representing people. None. Even the architect of this war, Putin, goes to great lengths to present himself as a representative of his people. And so we have power. Don't pretend you don't. I know it's not obvious, but we do. And so with this power, it's very important that we have to let the governments know what we think. We have to let the governments know what is acceptable. We have to let governments know that this war needs to stop. We have to let the government know that we are not tired. We have to let the leaders and the governments know that we are united. We are united for Ukraine. Victory is the only acceptable outcome in this situation. And if all we have to do is come in week after week, hold hands, cry, let's do it. But please post on social media, hashtag United for Ukraine, post on social media, hashtag Enforce the Peace. Don't let them tell you what to think. This is very obvious. If somebody invades your home or the home of your brother or your sister, there is no solution other than to get the invader out. There is no other solution. Don't let anybody tell you it's okay for Ukraine to give up land. It is not okay. Don't let them convince you. Simple analogy. Somebody invade your brother's house. Do you tell your brother to give up a room? Do you do that? Who does that? Even the Russians don't do that. This is not complex. Who sits on the sidelines and says to one brother, oh, keep fighting? We're making a big mistake. If you ask me, we need to step in and enforce the peace. We should not declare war on anybody, but we also should not let brothers fight each other. If we don't have the courage to do this, then yes, we must arm Ukraine. But my prayer is that we find the courage to enforce the peace, close the airspace, stop the fighting. How can we say we are one family on this planet and we watch two brothers fighting? It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. But the only thing worse than the disgrace we are witnessing now is if we should let Russia win. That is a shame on all of us. And so we are not tired and we are united for Ukraine. I wish you all a wonderful rest of the evening. I thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your act of resistance. Please, let us continue to be united for Ukraine. Stay safe. I'm going to play the Ukrainian national anthem, and I invite you to stand with me as we bring this session to a close. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ні слава, ні воля, ще нам, браття українці, згинуть наші вороженьки, як роса на сонці, запануєм ми, браття, у своїй сторонці, душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please get home safely. I know many of us are already at home thanks to this pandemic. We're all used to connecting online. All right, if you're not, get home safely. If you are already home, have a lovely evening. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Слава
Україні.
Героям слава!
Thank
you, everyone.
for this wonderful platform. Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, the light is getting brighter.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.
See you.
Yeah, actually, see you next week.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yemi, after your speech, you are the biggest nationalist of Ukraine.
I'm happy to join the queue. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Yemi, by the way, where is Ben? We was wondering.
We missed
Where is
Ben.
Ben? Oh, Ben. Yeah, Ben he's not been feeling so good, but he should be back hopefully by next week. Okay? So, I mean, he was just resting. Okay? But I'm sure he's stronger for the positive thoughts that you're sending him.
Yeah, we miss him, like him point of view, him comments.
Yeah, he's always such insightful.
Yes. So hopefully he's with us next week. But we always tell people health is the top priority. So he's rested.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Judith.
Thank you, Judith, for joining. Hugging you.
Always. Always. My heart.
All right. I just let the music play to the end and I'll close the session. Okay? You can enjoy it to the end, another minute or so.